Welcome to Paul N Saul. I'm Saul. He's Paul. We're here to tell you about the news as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Okay, so nobody gets angry.
10 to 14 minutes.
All right, 10 to 14 minutes maximum.
Hey, so I was not joking last week. If you send me a hat, I'm going to wear it. So last week it was Salt Mike Realty. This week it's Real Joy Vacations.
That's right. Real Joy Vacations for the vacationer in you. All right. Well, we're here in the Movement Mortgage Studios, which I remembered to plug because that's where we are. Thanks to Steve Shutt, the Movement Mortgage team. We got 4 things to talk about today. First things first, we're going to talk about a rate hike that could be coming to an FPL electrified home near you. And
It's all of us.
it's all of us except for the people in Blue Water. We see you, Blue Water people. And
we're jealous.
we're jelly. The USS United States has finally made it out of Philadelphia after what I would assume is an Odyssean-like hiatus.
I got a lot.
Thirdly, Mullen's Auto Body, good team member and friend of the pod here, was able to do an excellent, I was going to say do right, but do
That was
excellent.
nice thing.
They were doing a nice thing, a nice deal. And then finally, we're going to bother you about elections because I want you to guess how many people voted in the last contested election. Just hold that number in your mind. Okay, you've got it. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. All right, Paul, so let's start off with the first thing that we're going to talk about today, and that is a proposed rate hike that goes in front of the Public Services Commission here later in the year. They'll vote on it and determine whether or not FPL can add about $9 billion in rates over the next 4 years. Yeah.
So I'm super conflicted. So as a businessman, I understand the need for rate increases and revenue increase because our electric grid is not the best and we want to do better. And I understand what FPL is trying to do, but I think this is going to go over really poorly. I don't know how the commission will know, but I think it's going to go really poorly. No one wants to hear 2.5% rate increases for the next, each of the next 4 years.
I'm not going to name names, but somebody equivocated it to flatulence in a place of worship. Indeed, it's another rate increase on the back of a previously the highest proposed rate increase that went through in 2022. That one was for an additional $5 billion. But let's talk a little bit about the brass tacks of this thing. So FPL in a press release put out that, hey, we want to do this because we want to add more solar power to the grid. We want to add more alternative energy to the grid. They also talked about how inflation has caught up with them a little bit. And the number one thing, there were a bunch of things that they said, hey, this much has gone up this much. Transformers, those little bucket-looking things that you put on the trees.
They kill all the squirrels.
Yes, the squirrel massing risks.
Yeah.
They went up 101% over the last 4 years. And
Yeah.
I think that's, just to think about how something has doubled in price in 4 years isn't
Sure. I'm sure it's a very difficult business to run, but they also borderline have a monopoly.
They don't borderline. They have them.
Yeah.
And the way that
Blue Water Bay.
the Chelco has a monopoly in Water Bay. There's no FPL in.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
back in the day when we were electrifying the country, is how it was put during the Roosevelt New Deal work progress administration kind of stuff. They basically set out and said, okay, we're going to basically give you a monopoly because of how expensive it is to set up this infrastructure. But in exchange, you have to answer to what's called the Public Service Commission in each state. And so Florida has one here.
Yeah.
It used to be a directly elected position here in the state of Florida, but now it is appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. So these 5 commissioners get together periodically, and not just for FP&L. They do Chelco, TECO, all the other public service. Okaloosa Gas, I think, has some answerability to the Public Services Commission.
Some people are paying nearly double what they were paying just 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And so, 2.5 doesn't seem like a lot, but it's compounding.
It's 2.5. So it works out to something like, I believe it's somewhere in the area of 15% when it's all said and done by the end of the 4-year contract.
Yeah.
They're not going to vote on it until later. They expect somewhere probably in the December timeframe to have this thing fully rolled out and implemented, whether or not the Public Service Commission allows it. And then from there, we will have additional rate increases.
We'll see.
All right, so we'll stay on this one. But as we move from electricity over to the water, the USS United States, much like Homer's Odyssey, has made the most inefficient trip humanly possible and has made it from Philadelphia to Mobile.
My wife could, oh, wow, it seemed like it went pretty fast. And I'm like, I think it was moving 24 hours a day. right? I mean, they were tugging it all the way. It was pretty cool to see on social media and different news outlets around the state of Florida as it made its way south, people taking pictures of it. And you just realize in some of these pictures just how massive this ship is.
Yeah. Because you don't get that when you look at like the pictures.
You don't. It is a huge ship.
What is it like on it? Is it on Reddit or something where they do like the banana for scale? Do you know?
Yes, we need
a banana for scale, and I feel like that's been missed.
Maybe when you do a post update or something.
Yeah, we'll go over there at some point. Paul and I will. I think we'll have a Paul and Saul excursion.
It'd be fun if we could go check it out.
Paul and Saul live from the boat.
From the USS United States
With a banana. Don't worry, we'll bring.
We can't bring bananas on boats. That's a thing.
This really?
Yeah, no bananas on boats. Like, I'm not joking. You can Google that after the show. People know. No bananas on boats. We need to find a banana for the thumbnail of this.
I'm gonna. Yeah, no, I'm all over it. I'm gonna go to Aldi. I'm gonna get one and just like it's gonna be great. Moving on, a little closer to home. Niceville High School. This morning, as we're recording this Monday morning, I had Mullen, a good friend of ours. Andrew Carter was over there this morning giving away a 2013 Chevy Malibu that she had restored after an accident.
Yes.
To a young lady, a well-deserving young lady who needed a car. And so they gathered around, had an event.
It was really cool. So what they did was the young lady's in ROTC. And so they sort of like faked an ROTC drill and they surprised her with it. And she was bawling.
So cool.
It was so emotional, but so cool. But that's just an example of like Niceville to the core. Like Amber and her husband Mike are just soul to the earth people, and they get these vehicles every once in a while that have just a little bit of damage, but because they're a little older, the insurance company, basically totals them, and of course says, hey, we're not going to fix this.
She told me she actually bought it. She had to buy it from them, and then she gave it away for free. So they're like, super cool. And one of the quotes. Just as I was jotting down while I was listening to her, she says, when you go about this, she was kind of like worried, like, oh, we're going to give it to this kid. What's that going to look like? Does the person deserve it? All these things are going through your head when you're about to give, I don't know, $15,000 hardware right to a 16, 17, 18-year-old. She says, you got to put it in God's hands and you can't worry. Because she didn't get to meet him beforehand. She says, I got the backstory. I was assured it was the right person, even though the wife, the mother in this situation, it was tough, but she's instilled like these great values and these habits. And this one kid that received this car, like absolutely 100% deserves it. She's part of the ROTC unit, like you said, does great in school, has a bright future ahead of her. And now she has this car that will allow her to do that much more for herself, her family, and for people, right?
Huge. Big shout out to Mullen's.
Yeah. So we love
Amber. Good job, Mike.
Go ahead, Amber. Like, anyway. Last elections, I teased a phone number.
Yeah.
The number of people that participated in the last contested election, according to the supervisor of elections office, that number was 3.1%, roughly 170 votes, decided the whole election. And we have an election next Tuesday. Now, you might be saying to yourself, there's no one on the ballot. There's no one on the ballot.
Yeah, well, we talked about this in detail last week. There's 2 charter amendments that both, I think you and I believe you should vote yes on. There's a lot of, again, online fodder for people, I think, who are a little confused about what these charter amendments mean. But fundamentally, I think they're good changes for our city. And if you want to, you can watch last week because we basically talk about it for the first 5 minutes of last week's video.
What you need to know is that it is actually a vast conspiracy to give the mayor unlimited power, one coin flip at a time.
That's right, one coin flip.
And so first the coin flip, then the world.
Yes.
Get her in office.
Yeah.
These are just, we can't be clear about that. These are jokes.
Just vote yes on both of them so we can have a better city, please.
That would be, far be it from me.
At least show up.
Like, far be it from me to tell you what to do. This is just you and me talking right now. Listen.
Well, you're a news person. You're not really supposed to.
I don't have opinions. Never.
But I have all the opinions.
Never.
Feel free.
But if you don't show up and I hear you complain, we have a long, hard chat about your civic duty.
You know what would be fun? Expose is go back to those posts on social media from all the people who were giving their opinions, and we looked them up in the tax record to see if they actually live in the city or not. Then we asked that all their posts be deleted.
Paul, I see your malicious compliance, and I raise you no, I'm always game. Yeah.
All right, I think we're done.
Probably. I'm probably going to get flayed alive for this one.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Hey, be nice, though.
You've heard the man.
See ya.
Yeah, if we're